Hola, ¿qué tal? Today we're going to analyze how some of the world's most famous celebrities speak Spanish. I will also teach you some Spanish while analyzing their speaking. Watch till the end to discover if you make the same mistakes they do, and I'll show you how to correct them. Let's have fun while learning Spanish.
My Daily Spanish.
Let's start with Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez. We call her Selena Gomez.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno, ¿hablas un poquito español? ¿Un poquito?
Más poquito.
She says, muchos gracias. It is muchas gracias, with an A in Spanish. This is very tricky because mucho is an adjective, and adjectives accompany a noun, and needs to have the same gender and number. Gracias is feminine plural, so it needs to be muchas gracias. Then he asked, ¿hablas un poquito español? Do you speak Spanish a little? And she says, más poquito. This would be like more little. It doesn't make sense. I think she wanted to say muy poquito, which means very little. But we can't understand what she meant. That's what counts.
Es complicado para explicar.
¿Es complicado para explicar? Here she says, it's difficult to explain. But we don't use the preposition para here. It is de. Es complicado de explicar. Es complicado de explicar. Even though she has a Spanish-speaking family, she doesn't know Spanish. She speaks it like she's never heard it before. She is a third-generation American-Mexican, so it's normal. But she tries her best, and that's great. Let's now check Cardi B's Spanish.
Espérate que mi papá me está oyendo. Yo sé lo que yo estoy haciendo. Yo estudio lo que yo hago. Yo tengo parientes que siempre están pendiente de mí.
You can tell she grew up listening and speaking Spanish. This interview is fully in Spanish and she understands perfectly.
Espérate que mi papá me está oyendo.
Espérate que mi papá me está oyendo. Wait, my father is listening.
Yo sé lo que yo estoy haciendo.
Yo sé lo que yo estoy haciendo. I know what I'm doing.
Yo estudio lo que yo hago.
Yo estudio lo que hago. I study what I do.
Yo tengo parientes que siempre están pendiente de mí.
Yo tengo parientes que siempre están pendientes de mí. Pendientes is an adjective that goes with parientes, relatives. Since parientes is plural, pendientes also have to be plural.
Yo nunca no era prostituta, bailarina sí.
Yo nunca he sido prostituta. Bailarina sí. Nunca is already a negative. You don't repeat it twice. Nunca no era, nunca era, but also era is the imperfect past for things that didn't finish. But here we are talking about the past that is past and it has finished. So here it would be, yo nunca he sido prostituta.
Y sí, ahora yo soy, tú sabes, yo soy internacional, yo soy famosa.
Y sí, ahora ya tú sabes, yo soy internacional, yo soy famosa. Famoso for men, famosa for women.
Sí, alguna cosa yo he cambiado, ¿tú sabes por qué yo he cambiado?
Sí, alguna cosa yo he cambiado. ¿Tú sabes por qué yo he cambiado? It sounds more natural without the yo. We usually omit that. Sí, alguna cosa he cambiado. ¿Sabes por qué he cambiado? She is totally fluent and her intonation is perfect. But sometimes she makes grammar mistakes. I guess it's because the language that she uses in her daily life is English. She mixes some English while she talks also. She uses the pronoun I, yo a lot, and we usually skip it. That way it sounds more natural. But her Spanish is great. She's bilingual. Let's go now with Viggo Mortensen. In Spain we pronounce it like Viggo Mortensen, so I don't really know.
Llegó un momento bastante tarde para empezar a pensar en eso de ser actor. A los 21 años, por ahí, que empecé a mirar las películas preguntándome cómo se hace. No solamente me gusta o no, pero cómo se hace. ¿Cómo es posible que esta persona en la pantalla diga o haga algo de una manera que me hace llorar o me hace sentir cosas?
Okay, I'm shocked. I didn't know he spoke Spanish. He speaks Spanish perfectly, better than myself. He uses very difficult grammar. When he was a kid, he lived in Argentina for 9 years. He speaks Spanish as if he never left Argentina. Crazy. It's incredible. He has the best Argentinian accent. And I love the Argentinian accent. It is very sexy. By the way, on My Daily Spanish, we have a free study guide that offers a step-by-step process to help you learn Spanish faster. You can download it for free using the link in the description. Let's check Ariana Grande's Spanish. Ariana Grande. ¿Cómo les gusta el show? The correct way would be ¿Les está gustando el show? Are you liking the show? That way is formal. More natural would be the informal ¿Os está gustando el show? ¿Están divirtiendo? For Are you having fun? The correct way would be ¿Se están divirtiendo? Because the verb is divertirse, to have fun. And it has the reflexive se, which implies that it's you, yourself, who is having fun. Me estoy divirtiendo. I am having fun. Estoy divirtiendo a mi hermana. I am amusing my sister.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Te gusta mi bandana?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hi, how are you? ¿Te gusta mi bandana? Do you like my bandana? She is really cute speaking Spanish. She is so sweet. It doesn't matter which language she is speaking. She is so cute. You can tell she doesn't speak Spanish, but she learned some sentences. Spanish speakers love seeing people from other countries trying to speak Spanish. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. Gracias. Let's listen to Will Smith speaking Spanish. Will Smith.
En los Estados Unidos la gente habla una idioma, pero todos los países del mundo la gente habla 2 o 3 idiomas.
En los Estados Unidos la gente habla una idioma. Un idioma. Idioma is masculine. El idioma. Pero todos los países del mundo, pero en todos los países, we need the preposition en. País is masculine. El país. So it is todos los países del mundo. The sentence will be like this. En los Estados Unidos la gente habla un idioma, pero en todos los países del mundo la gente habla 2 o 3 idiomas. It would make more sense if we said, pero en el resto de países del mundo, it's not in every country, but in the rest of the world, right? Pero en el resto de países la gente habla 400 idiomas.
Gracias. Estoy muy contento de estar aquí. Es mi primera vez aquí en Argentina. Necesito practicar más.
Estoy muy contento de estar aquí. I am very happy to be here. Es mi primera vez aquí en Argentina. It's my first time here in Argentina. Necesito practicar más. I need to practice more. Will Smith is doing great in Spanish. He knows the basics well and can create his own sentences. He would survive very well in a Spanish-speaking country on a holiday. He says he needs to practice more. We see that when it comes to more advanced topics, he doesn't know the vocabulary and might also need to practice speaking more often. But he does really well and he has the courage to try to do the interviews in Spanish when he comes to Spain or Latin American countries. I have to clap. And lastly, let's check out Gwyneth Paltrow speaking Spanish.
Bueno, cuando tenía 15 años yo estaba estudiando español en el colegio en Nueva York y la profesora nos han dicho, bueno, hay una oportunidad a ir a España, a estudiar ahí. Entonces yo hacía un intercambio y vivía con una familia en el centro de España, cerca de Toledo.
I am amazed. She speaks Spanish very well. Let's correct some mistakes. Bueno, cuando tenía 15 años, yo estaba estudiando, doesn't go there. Yo estaba estudiando, or estudiaba. Yo estudiaba español en el colegio en Nueva York y la profesora nos han dicho. Here the verb is plural, but profesora is singular. La profesora nos ha dicho. But here, as we are talking about the past, something that she said once, y la profesora nos dijo, bueno, hay una oportunidad ahí en España de estudiar allí. Here, talking about Spain, it's so far, so it's allí. Bueno, hay una oportunidad allí en España para estudiar allí. Una oportunidad para estudiar. Entonces yo hacía un intercambio y vivía con una familia en el centro de España. Here we're talking about the past, something that ended in the past. So this would be, entonces yo hice un intercambio y viví con una familia en el centro de España, cerca de Toledo. I am amazed, really, she speaks Spanish very well. Her accent is very good. You can tell she understands perfectly and has practiced a lot. She seems to be a very hard worker and has put a lot of effort into learning. She makes a lot of little grammar mistakes, but you can understand her perfectly. She is advanced. She has a very advanced level. Now, some tips to correct those mistakes that we heard today. First, think of the gender of each noun when you speak. A good way to practice would be to write an essay in Spanish and then review it, finding all the nouns, think of the gender of each noun, and check the words that accompany it. Second, review the prepositions with examples of when to use each one. This is a very difficult part of Spanish, but you can also practice while watching series and shows in Spanish and writing expressions with the prepositions you hear. Third, review the verb tenses and when to use each one. This is the more advanced step. You need a lot of listening practice to get used to when to use each verb tense. You can do it! I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. If you have suggestions or questions about Spanish, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Have a great day! Adios!
My Daily Spanish.